So here's the first drive now for the Jags. They'll be led out by their quarterback from Central Florida. It's Blake Bortles.
And you can see why he was the #3 pick when he came out in the NFL draft. 6'5", sturdy guy, strong arm, led his UCF team to a big bowl victory over Baylor, and runs the ball way better than
So out come the Texans for their opening drive. They'll be led out by the second-year man out of Clemson, Deshaun Watson.
What a start to his NFL career as a rookie. 19 touchdown passes in just 6 starts. That was more touchdowns than Joe Flacco, Tyrod Taylor, or Marcus Mariota. And Houston went 1-8 after losing him, which lent credence to many people saying he should have been the Rookie of the Year based on his play and how Houston did.
Opening drive. You hear the roar from this crowd in Indianapolis as Andrew Luck comes back onto the field here in the Circle City and leads him into the huddle.
And the big news for the big passer from Stanford in 2018, a clean bill of health. Missed all of 2017 after complications from shoulder surgery. And this is a guy who had 40 touchdown passes in 2014. Anything even approaching that number could drastically alter the future of this franchise.
So here are the Titans backed up to start this drive. They'll be led out by their 4th-year quarterback from Oregon, Marcus Mariota.
The numbers in 2017, not what anyone expected. 13 touchdowns, but 15 interceptions, although he did lead the Titans to the playoffs for the first time in a decade, and then led them to a huge upset victory in Kansas City in the wild card round.
So here's the Viking offense making their way out. Bringing them out will be Kirk Cousins, born just outside of Chicago, played his college ball for the Spartans at Michigan State.
I do hear some mild criticism of Kirk Cousins and his play the last few seasons in Washington, mainly because the team was just 24-23-1. But I also saw a quarterback with an offensive line that essentially introduced itself to each other in the huddle before the first snap in Seattle against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Win that game with big plays late. This is a tough-minded, hard-nosed, gritty quarterback that tends to inspire a team to play better around.
Offense backed up here to begin their first drive. They'll be led out by a man who's in his 11th season now as a starting quarterback of the Packers. It's his 14th year overall, Aaron Rodgers.
And a case can be made that Aaron Rodgers is changing the way you play quarterback in the NFL. Instead of just precision and timing, he's able to take a play and extend it even when it doesn't need to be and go for the bigger play downfield rather than short, easy, effective throw.
From the 25. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. The former Georgia product leading out this crew in his 10th year now at the helm of the Lions. It's Matthew Stafford.
One thing you ask for from your quarterback, improvement each and every season. You also ask for consistency. Matthew Stafford, 7 straight years over 4,000 yards passing. He's still looking for that initial playoff victory during his tenure, but I think that he's been leading them towards it and has a chance to get it in the upcoming future.
So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. So we get a peek at the former #2 overall pick, Mitchell Trubisky.
And while we always talk about quarterbacks and what their potential is, we always want to see how it translates. To me, the next big step for Mitchell Trubisky is simply experience. Just 13 starts in his college career at North Carolina. A rookie season behind him in 2017 where he wasn't a full-time starter. It's just going to be repetition, 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 and especially during games.
So here are the Giants ready to start their initial drive of the game. It'll be the now 37-year-old quarterback calling the shots in his 15th season at the helm of the Giants, Eli Manning.
When you look at the numbers that Eli Manning posted in 2017, there's plenty of cause for concern. Lowest yards per completion of his career, fewest yards passes since 2008. His numbers continue to drop in terms of touchdowns and rising in terms of interceptions. But he's one of the fiercest competitors in the league, even if you can't tell it by his demeanor. And no, you don't hear about his workout program like Tom Brady and Drew Brees. But this is a guy that burns to win and wants to get back on the top of the league.
Here are the Redskins now backed up a bit here to start their first drive. Bringing him out as their new quarterback in 2018, of course, came over from Kansas City. It's the 14-year veteran Alex Smith.
And despite another terrific season from Alex Smith in Kansas City, he knew, Kansas City knew from the moment Patrick Mahomes was drafted, this day was going to come sooner rather than later. Now he goes to Washington, and replaces Kirk Cousins. Two different quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins a little more of the freewheeling sort. Alex Smith more deliberate, more controlled, but can still throw that dagger pass down.
Wentz as they get ready to take over. The man under center will be Carson Wentz, the third-year quarterback hailing from North Dakota State.
And what a season Carson Wentz was having in 2017 after a rookie season that was a little bit up and down, as you might expect. He was having an MVP caliber year. 33 touchdown passes at the time of his injury. Had his team at 11-2, riding high. Everyone thought that might be it for the Eagles. There goes their dream of winning a Super Bowl. Instead, Nick Foles comes in, team rallies, saves the day, and he ended up winning the Super Bowl anyway. But Carson Wentz had a big hand in getting him in that position.
So here are the Cowboys now backed up to get this drive started. They'll be brought out by a man who hails from Sulphur, Louisiana, played his college ball at Mississippi State, the quarterback Dak Prescott.
The numbers he put up as a rookie, outstanding. But were they really, truly sustainable? Remember, they were 13-3 his rookie season. They ended up going 9-7 in 2017. How about they went from 4 interceptions in 2016 as a rookie to 13 his second year? These are numbers that you didn't expect to stay the same, but I do expect Dak Prescott to continue to get better and better as a quarterback.
So out come the Rams now for their first possession. The former #1 overall pick leads them out there. Jared Goff in his third season now as the quarterback of the Rams.
It always comes down to the talent of a player first, but never underestimate what good coaching can do for you as well. How about Jared Goff, 0-7 as a rookie to 11-4 in an NFC West title in his second season? The arrival of Sean McVay and his staff, they really jumped up his game. 28 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions in 2017.
So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. We take a closer look at Russell Wilson, the Pro Bowl quarterback in his 7th season out of Wisconsin.
So knowing the style of offense that Seattle favored or has favored during Russell Wilson's time there, raise your hand if you thought you'd see him lead the league in touchdown passes.
My hand's down right now.
That's what I thought. He only had 21 in 2016, so we didn't see that part coming. The Seahawks missed the playoffs for the first time in Russell Wilson's tenure last season, but expect that to change going forward.
So out come the Cardinals now for their opening drive. It's Sam Bradford who will be controlling things under center in his 9th year now out of Oklahoma.
And getting another fresh start, this time in Arizona. But it'd be interesting to see how people in the building, how people in the organization view this season for Sam Bradford. Is he a bridge to Josh Rosen, who they drafted in the first round? Or will he become their legitimate starting quarterback as they try and challenge for a playoff spot? When he's on his game, there's nobody more accurate in the league throwing the football.
So here's the first drive now for the 49ers. We're going to look at Jimmy Garoppolo. He'll be under center, the 5th-year quarterback who's in his 2nd season now with the 49ers.
And he put his time in New England to really good use while he was there. Obviously not the starter with Tom Brady there, but he observed Brady every day, learned every nuance of the offense, and every week during the season, the Patriots would give him a chance to run the game plan of that week's game in practice so he would get real big-time reps, and he's translated that on his next move to San Francisco.
So out come the Bucs now for their first drive. We're going to look at a man in his 4th season already at the controls of the Bucs offense. From Florida State, it's Jameis Winston.
And there's little doubt that he's looking for a big-time bounce-back season in 2018. Everyone expected a big year in 2017, but the team won just 3 times in his 13 starts. Some of that you got to put on their defense. They struggled, but there are too many inopportune turnovers that continue to plague him.
And here come the Saints for their opening drive. We get a good peek at a man in his 13th year at the controls of the Saints. In his 18th season overall, it's Drew Brees.
And to say that he knows every bit of the New Orleans offensive playbook, terminology, nuances, and creates a few of his own would actually be an understatement for Drew Brees. He makes everything go with that offense and makes everyone around him better. Every time he takes a snap, there's a potential for a big play and a touchdown.
25. So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. They will be led out by their starting quarterback since his arrival back in 2011. It's Cam Newton.
2 years after leading the Panthers to the Super Bowl, he did get them back into the playoffs in 2017. Unfortunately, they fell in the first round. Just 206 yards passing per game, the lowest total of his career. But I think a lot of that was due to injuries on the offensive line and the lack of big-time weapons outside. The Panthers in the last 2 drafts, though, have tried to address that. Look for those numbers to climb up again for Cam Newton.
Matt Ryan leading him under center, the 11th-year quarterback, 4-time Pro Bowler, and the MVP of the league in 2016.
What a season Matt Ryan had in 2016, where he led the NFL in so many different categories as a quarterback. Numbers dropped in 2017, but the team still qualified for the playoffs, took down the higher-seeded Rams in L.A. before losing a tough one in Philadelphia to the eventual Super Bowl champions. Matt Ryan, he makes them go in Atlanta.
So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. It'll be Josh McCown leading this crew in his 2nd year at the helm of the Jets, 17 years now in the NFL.
And Josh McCown knows how to prepare, knows the ins and outs of playing the position. They're actually hoping they can squeeze another year of production out of him, but really where he'll be worth his weight in gold, mentoring Sam Darnold, the number 3 pick out of USC. They can get him on the field early with some tutoring from McCown. That's where McCown will earn his keep for the New York Jets.
Here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They're brought out by their 5th-year quarterback in his first season at the helm of the Jets, Teddy Bridgewater.
And it was terrific to see him make his return in Minnesota in 2017, even if it was just for a few snaps. I was actually there for that game. The emotion that went through the stadium, that resonated from the sideline and from Teddy Bridgewater himself, the culmination of a lot of hard work. And now he's ready to take it to the next level and be a starter in the NFL again.
25 on the touchback. So now the Patriots getting set to take over on offense. Their 41-year-old quarterback leading them out there in his 19th season out of Michigan, the great Tom Brady.
Normally, I'm not crazy about reciting numbers about a player, but when you talk about a guy named Tom Brady, who's playing at the highest level in his 40s, let's go ahead and do it. 4,500 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, a 3rd MVP award. These are not numbers you associate with a player playing in the NFL in his 40s.
So here come the Bills on offense for the first time. Leading the charge is the 5th-year man out of Alabama, and that's A.J. McCarron.
For a guy who spent 4 years as Andy Dalton's backup in Cincinnati, it's been a little bit of a turbulent ride for A.J. McCarron. Different trade rumors throughout his time there in Cincinnati. Had a chance to be a starter for a short time during an injury to Dalton's thumb and acquitted himself nicely. He expects to solidify his role in Buffalo.
The drive from the 25. So here come the Dolphins now as they get set to take over on offense. Now this is a sight that the Dolphin fans are happy to see, the return of their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill.
Unfortunate for Ryan Tannehill, as the improvement was starting to develop in the NFL. 2 knee injuries in the last 2 seasons. The second one cost him all of 2017. Right now, if you watch the Dolphins, you believe as Ryan Tannehill goes, so do the Dolphins.
Here come the Bengals now to take over. Calling the shots in the huddle will be the 8th-year man from TCU. His first season in his 30s. The quarterback is Andy Dalton.
2 straight subpar years for the Bengals, 6-9-1 in 2016, followed by a 7-9 in 2017. Many are starting to wonder whether Andy Dalton's actually on the hot seat this year. It's unfortunate. It comes with the territory when you're a starting quarterback in the NFL, even if it's not always fair.
It's getting set for their first drive. Their 36-year-old quarterback brings him out there. He'll be calling the shots in his 15th season now. It's Ben Roethlisberger.
And when you just sit and look at the raw numbers, you actually kick back and nod in appreciation about the career Ben Roethlisberger has had. Went over 50,000 passing yards last year, 8th all-time. But what he wants more than anything, one more run at a Super Bowl where he's won twice previously.
So here come the Browns for their first drive on offense. Leading them out, their new quarterback for 2018, making his first start since coming over from Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor.
And many see him as the bridge quarterback until first-round pick Baker Mayfield is ready. He may understand that thinking, but I'll guarantee it's not going to stop him from competing to be the #1 quarterback in Cleveland. Remember, he led the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. It'd be truly something if he could lead the Browns there after a 15-year drought in Cleveland.
Here come the Browns for their first drive on offense. It's Baker Mayfield leading him out. He's the man tasked with being the savior of this franchise, the #1 overall pick from Oklahoma.
From walking out at 2 different programs in the Big 12 to a Heisman Trophy winner, Maxwell Award winner, Walter Camp winner, and unanimous All-American, not to mention the #1 overall pick in the NFL, the stars have certainly aligned for Baker Mayfield. But now comes the tough part. Can you get an 0-16 team back to respectability and hopefully in the future to playoff success?
Here come the Ravens with their first look on offense. It's Joe Flacco leading him out, the leading passer in Raven franchise history in his 11th season now out of Delaware.
Throughout his career, he's been tough, hard-nosed, and certainly durable. Only 6 starts missed in his first 10 seasons and played 16 games 9 times. But for the first time in his career, a little competition headed his way with first-round pick Lamar Jackson from Louisville set to contest for the #1 job.
So here come the Ravens now, ready to get the football for the first time. They'll be led out by their rookie quarterback. He is a young pup, just 21 years of age, out of Pompano Beach, Florida. It's Lamar Jackson.
And when you handicap the race for the starting quarterback position in Baltimore, you realize you're looking at 2 different types of quarterbacks entirely. Joe Flacco, big, strong pocket quarterback. Lamar Jackson, something so different. Set ACC records for most rushing yards and rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in a single season.
It's making their way out. They'll be brought out by the NC State product, Phillip Rivers, in his 15th season now.
And Phillip Rivers has had just about all the accolades you can have in the NFL. He's put up big numbers. He's made multiple Pro Bowls. But what he wants more than anything, at least 1 Super Bowl appearance before his career is over.
So here's the Charger offense making their way out. Bringing him onto the field, their QB from West Virginia in his 6th season now. There's Geno Smith. And they're led out by their mobile quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
Geno Smith has always loved the game of football. Dissects a lot of film, really is invested that way, has a good live arm. Should use his feet a little bit more to help himself out. His mobility never in question, but he likes to stay in the pocket.
So here comes the Raiders offense now onto the field. The man calling the shots in the huddle will be Derek Carr in his 5th year now out of Fresno State.
He did make his 3rd straight Pro Bowl, but the numbers didn't really reflect what is known as Pro Bowl caliber. 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions on a 6-10 team. But the biggest question in Oakland in this offseason, how will he and new head coach John Gruden mesh? That's the key to victory for the Oakland Raiders.
Here comes the Raider offense now onto the field. The 6-year quarterback out of Florida State who brings him out there is E.J. Manuel.
Highly doubtful that he would be the first choice on the depth chart for many teams coming into 2018. But he's made some starts in the past. You know the moment's not going to be too big for him. You can get your team in and out of the huddle and run an NFL offense.
Chiefs. So here come the Chiefs for their opening drive. Bringing them out is the 2nd-year man, Patrick Mahomes, taking over for Alex Smith here in 2018 as the KC starter.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see how they bring him along. You know, a lot of people say, well, do you have some training wheels on a young quarterback? But Patrick Mahomes is at his best when he's a little bit more of a freewheeling guy who can use his big arm to get the ball downfield. I suspect the Chiefs are going to lean towards letting him go.
They'll take it out to the 25. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their quarterback, born and raised in Brownwood, Texas, played his college ball at Houston. It's Case Keenum.
And at the 2018 draft, when the Broncos' number came up at 5, plenty of chatter that they might take a quarterback right there. Remember, Josh Allen was still on the board. Josh Rosen was still on the board. But the Broncos made a commitment to Case Keenum in free agency, and they're living up to it. Did not take a quarterback in that slot. Going to ride with their new number 4, Case Keenum.